Hi everyone, I hope you can see me okay. The sun's kind of setting, so I'm sort of racing to stay out of its rays so that I'm not blinded by them. But anyways, I wanted to get on here and do the reading for the Pick a Pile. I seem to have lost one of my cards. Here it is. Okay. So I wanted to do that reading for Pick a Pile. This is the free one. So you're going to get one card from, let me get the box here, from the Halloween Oracle. So this is one of the decks that you can pick all through October, anytime, to have in your reading if you want to book a one-on-one reading. This is also a great time to get a reading this time of year, partly because the veil is thinning. So the worlds are not as far apart, kind of thing. So it's not just a great time to get a reading for, communing with past loved ones, because a lot of people associate that kind of reading, which I can do. I've been doing a lot more of them this month because this is the month when a lot of people think about Halloween and Samhain and the celebration of the transition of death from life to death and that sort of thing. And they want to get in touch with past loved ones. It is a lot easier to do it at this time of the year, but it's also easier to do it in May too. A lot of people forget about May, so you can do it in May as well. But I've been doing a lot of sort of mediumship kind of readings this month. It's called Talking with Heaven, or Speaking, or A Visit to Heaven, I believe it's called, under my services thing. And so far the readings, like the mediumship readings, have been very powerful, very hopeful, very empowering, very sort of healing, I guess, is another good word that would happen with it, because it often turns into a session of healing and getting answers and questions answered and that sort of thing. So, but it is also a very powerful time to get a reading in general, a tarot reading, or even a dragon reading or something like that, because not only are the worlds between those that have passed and where we are here on this earth thinner, but also the veil between the fairy world, between spirit guides and angels, a little bit thinner, a little easier to reach out to draw in, and that sort of thing. So let me begin. So the first card that you may have picked is the Black Cat. So this is for those of you that picked the Black Cat. So you got Barmbreck, and it says sweetness and synergy. And you can see there's some jack-o'-lanterns, and there's kind of like what looks like a loaf of bread here. So I know this one is a sweet loaf. So it's kind of a bread, kind of like banana bread. It's not really a bread you'd make a sandwich with, but it's delicious just on its own. And each of these come with a little rhyme. Oh, my dog's around. My dog just passed recently, my Lucy, and every time she's around, I either see 222 or I get a hair in my mouth, because she was a big Great Pyrenees and her hair was everywhere, and apparently it's still around. So for this Barmbreck, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Barmbreck, it says the poem that goes with it is: a pea, a cloth, a coin, a ring, and stick. Within a loaf of speckled sweetness, slice it and eat it, a glimpse of my fate's completeness. So what this card really means is it's about, taking on life, taking a bite out of life, allowing sweetness to come in, allowing prosperity to come in. But the other thing too is, I don't know if any of you remember when we were kids and I would sometimes go to birthday parties, and some parents did this with the birthday cakes. They would put coins in the birthday cake, and you found a coin, you could keep it. In those days, the coins only went up to quarters. They didn't have loonies and toonies at that point. So, some kid would find a dime, or you'd find a quarter or a nickel or whatever, and you could still buy something with that too. But, so that was always kind of a fun thing. So this actually is a very, very old tradition, and it dates back to this Barmbreck bread that was often made around the time of Samhain. And they would put a coin, a pea, a stick, and a ring in it. So there was like this little ring that they could put in it. So it was a form of an oracle. So a lot of times, because I've had this deck for a number of years now, a lot of times when this shows up, it means you need to get a reading, because this is a form of oracle. Because the theory was, when you sliced into the bread, and if you got one of these things, if you got the coin, it meant you were going to have a great year. Because a lot of the pagan year starts at Samhain, so that's kind of a new year for us, because it's a celebration of death, getting rid of the old, bringing in the new, that sort of thing. So it meant for the next year, from this Samhain to next, it was going to be a very prosperous year for you. If you got the pea, it meant you weren't going to get married this year, and love probably wasn't going to be there for you this year. If you got the ring, it meant, yes, definitely love is coming in, absolutely, for sure, and marriage is probably along with that love that's coming in. The thing you didn't want to get was the stick. It was the only one you didn't really want to get. I mean, I suppose the pea might be sort of sad if you were hoping that you were going to marry that year, but the stick was definitely like, you're going to have bad luck that year and all that kind of stuff. So when this shows up, because it's kind of an oracle card about an oracle reading of sorts, it means that you really want to know what the future is. And it often, if you don't want to know, it often is an indicator that, well, not that you don't want to know, but it's often an indicator that the cards actually have a very special message for you that you need to hear. And you need to hear it now, like at this time, at Samhain time, because this is the Halloween oracle. So there's other decks that you can incorporate as well. You can incorporate the Bohemian Gothic Tarot if you want, the Witch's Wisdom, Making Magic. This is all about magic in your life. The Seasons of the Witch, and this is specifically for Samhain as well, and the Witch's Tarot. So these are all decks. I have them at my desk in the parlor. And when you come in for a reading, or if you want to do it online, I will show you the decks again, and you can pick whichever decks you want. You can pick all 6 decks if you want to, and we can use them all. But I often do like triple, quadruple. I don't know what we go up from there, but as many decks as you want to pick, whatever you're drawn to, definitely. So I bring out these ones special just for October, Samhain, and Halloween. So that's your reading for those of you that picked the Black Cat. It's saying there's something you need to hear. And in a sort of a surface one like this, it's not going to be like, very specific, right? Because there's probably quite a few of you that are going to watch this. So that being said, it says that there's something coming up in your future that you need to know about, and it will really help you a lot as well. So keep that in mind. Whether it's me or another reader, go get a reading. So for those of you that picked Broom, so some of you picked Broom, and you got Death. So this is Death, also is in tarot. This happens to be an oracle card. So Death, and it says the eternal cycle begins here. And I love that they have like a butterfly and a skull together, because a butterfly is about dying in the cocoon and then forming and transforming into a beautiful butterfly. And the poem that goes with this is, "'Tis not the end, though I may pass in the night. I get to do my time over, although you might get a fright." So as I say in tarot and whatnot, death is the beginning of something. It's a transition kind of card. So something big is beginning, especially when you get this card during the Samhain time when the veil is thinner. So this means a big transition might be coming up for you, a new beginning. It can also mean, because this is the month where we celebrate the transition of death, it can also mean that maybe it's now the time to either reach out or get some kind of mediumship kind of reading so that you can get in touch with your past loved ones or ancestors or spirit guides, or it would be a great time for you to do that specifically for you guys to do that, because there might be something that one of your past loved ones, for instance, needs to tell you. It might be something that maybe you've been thinking about them a little more, and maybe there's some pain around there or some closure that needs to happen. There's always sometimes a lot of questions around grief and death and transition. And by reaching out, I find, especially with my clients, when they get a mediumship reading under the services tab on my Facebook page, it's described as a visit with heaven. I find a lot of times people really get great comfort from those kind of readings because they are able to talk. When I first started into this, I was like, no, I'm not a medium. I'm not a medium. But then, ancestors and past loved ones kept coming into the tarot readings. So I thought I better hone this skill. So I did. And I'm able, it's weird. I act as a bit of a vessel for the person, whoever it might be that you're trying to reach out to. And I basically just repeat back verbatim what they are saying as you ask questions. So it's kind of an interesting sort of reading. And I was really worried the first time I did one, because I'm like, how am I going to know if it's like the real person? And it's weird because it always seems to hit, like there's something that I'll say that they only say that, or, oh my God, that's so weird that, this is one of the things that we talked about last time we were alive together. And it's just like, it's bizarre the way it works. I can't explain it, but I've just opened myself up to it, and I'm able to provide that. So should you want to get in touch with someone from your past, someone who's passed, I mean, like not from your past, but from that's passed over, then please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to be that vessel for you should you need some questions answered, or should you just want to know that they're in a good place, should you even just want to tell them that you love them and want to hear what they have to say. So that's for that death. But it also means too that big things are coming for you, and big good things, not big, not big monsters, but that something is transitioning as well. Now, sometimes it's having that closure that's part of that transition, part of that healing. So feel free to reach out to me or another psychic that you know, a mediumship person that you know. Feel free to do that. But it's probably a good thing for you to get this month, because these cards are coming up for a reason. And these are one of two of maybe 4 cards in the whole deck where I would say, okay, you need to get a reading. So let's see what Cauldron holds for those of you that picked Cauldron. So for those of you that picked Cauldron, you got scrying. So for those of you that don't know what scrying is, it's another form of divination. There's a lot of different ways to do it. The reason there's a crystal ball here is because you can scry with a crystal ball. You can scry with candles. There's fire scrying, and there's different forms of fire scrying and that sort of thing. There's scrying with water. So it's basically trusting your intuition through images and getting messages through those images. And let me find that scrying poem. The scrying poem is: soften your eyes, begin the trance, whole worlds are open, begin the dance. So when you get this scrying card, I know in the book it says might be time for you to start scrying or try it even. So you can try it. You can do scrying with mirrors as well. So you can try it. Or what I often find this card means is trust your intuition. Trust it this month. Is going to serve you well. Perhaps you've been thinking too much in your head and trying to be too logical about things. Sometimes in order to move things forward, you have to let go of logic, and you have to let go of control and just fall and trust your intuition. Follow that for a little bit. See where it takes you. It's good to have a good balance of both, but if you're too heavy on one or the other, you're missing out on some of the information that you could be privy to in order to be making whatever decision or direction change you want to make or whatever. So right now, this month, trust your intuition. It's going to serve you well. If you want to know more, of course, you can book a reading. But otherwise, listen to what your gut says or listen to what your heart is saying. Lean into those a little more this month, because it's going to be a little more of a, just trust what the universe brings for you. As opposed to, well, this doesn't really make sense. Try not to question those as much and just trust the energy that's around you. Okay, so I hope that helped. Thank you for being here. And I hope you're here for next Monday, because we're doing special readings all through October and the first week of November. Because the first week, the end of October, when Halloween is also Samhain, but also it's traditionally the Day of the Dead is November the 1st, I believe. And it's actually a week-long kind of celebration. So I incorporate November, the first sort of week of November, as part of October as well. All right, so click the like button if you can, or the thumbs up thing, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you if you have subscribed. Thank you so much for being a subscriber and being here, and ring the little fairy bell so you know whenever Mystic Mondays start, and you'll be able to be notified, so you don't always have to set an alarm like some of my clients have said they've been doing, so they don't miss out, or that you don't have to just remember, oh yeah, Lady Rose is doing her readings now, it's Mystic Mondays at 7. So if you have the notification, you'll be notified on your phones that I am, when I post up a new video. Okay, have a great week. I hope you had a lovely, lovely Thanksgiving. I'm so grateful that you guys are here and that you've supported my small business. I appreciate it so much. And if you want to make a donation for next Mystic Monday, you always get extra cards. You get top of the list. You get VIP service when you make a donation. This week is a special week because I've been asking specifically for a $10 donation to get the link for the pick-a-pile. But next week, it's whatever donation you want to pick. Like some people send 5, some people send 10, some people send 20. Whatever you can do, that would be most appreciated, of course. And then it's a good exchange of energy on all sides, all around. And you get some extra cards for it. Okay, great. Thanks so much. Bye.